Now, last week, Glenn Beck made a teary segment on his show where he talked about how he was ill and that he had, honestly, mental issues. Now, he says it's because of adrenal glands, I believe, and that he had an ailment. They didn't know how to fix that ailment, and it's okay. He found a new doctor who does something that professional doctors basically call pseudoscience, and that this neurologist of sorts, kind of, cured him by spinning him round. Remember that old song? No, but literally, he says they put him in a gyroscope and spun him around, and then he prayed a lot, and now he's cured. Before he was cured, he said he was in the bottom 10 percentile in mental acuity. Now, that was the years he was on Fox. That was the years he's been a talk show host, okay? Now, I didn't say any of those things. Glenn Beck said those things. Now, apparently, people got upset at me last week for pointing that out. They said, how dare you, the man is sick, right? No, I said that I wasn't buying part of his explanation. Now, let's be clear. You can go back and look at the video we made. I didn't say that I wasn't buying that he was sick. I said I wasn't buying that he was cured. All right, now, one of the people calling me out is Joe Concha. If you're wondering who that is, so am I. Okay, I know. He's on Fox News here. He's going to go on Howard Kurtz's program. Apparently he's involved with Mediaite somehow. God bless. They're going to talk about me without saying my name, you know, because I'm a person who cannot be mentioned. Let's watch.
Beck now says he has a clean bill of health, recovering from adrenal fatigue and autoimmune syndrome. But there have been some skeptical voices wondering whether he's kind of over-dramatizing this at all.
Yes, and this mainly came from liberal media. Most times when a public figure, a media figure comes forth with a revelation like this, it's usually universal applause saying, oh, good, I'm glad you're feeling better. But in some cases, particularly with one former MSNBC host, somebody screaming for to be relevant again, he said that Glenn Beck is making this whole thing up because he's going bankrupt.
The idea here that I'm being an ass, which is arguable, by criticizing Beck over his illness. But wait a minute now, are you telling me that you think that spinning around on a gyroscope, literally, and praying a lot can cure you of whatever adrenal fatigue is? I don't know what it is. You know, he doesn't know what it is. Beck doesn't know, right? But they say, no, you spin around and around, and then you pray like, oh, Lord Jesus, please spin me around a little bit more. Oh, I'm cured. Now I don't have the problems, then they curling up like a fetus, like that's what Beck said, and the sharp pains and what appeared to be almost like epileptic seizures, all that was cured by doing that. Quackery. Okay, let me repeat for the record, not buying it. That is not real treatment. If whatever he had, he's not cured of. It's not to say that I don't feel bad that he has something. I said that in the original video. I do. As a progressive, I feel bad. Oh, look, he's got something. He admits himself. It makes him act crazy. And I also feel bad for his audience because they're following a guy who admits, I'm acting crazy, who now claims that he's cured. Now, that gets to the second part of this so-called controversy, which is that, well, I think that Glenn Beck is saying this to say, it's okay, yeah, when I was on TV, I was acting crazy, right? I don't know what I was saying there, right? But now I'm totally okay, so you can let me back on TV. They also find this to be an outrageous theory of mine. Let's go back to Joe Concha.
Now, let me break down for you how Glenn Beck makes his money and where he ranks in terms of the media. Glenn Beck last year, or 2 years ago, signed a $100 million contract for his syndicated radio show with Premier Networks. He also generates $45 million, according to Forbes, each year from The Blaze. That's his media network. He also has 4 New York Times bestsellers to his credit. Overall, Glenn Beck earned $90 million last year, Howie. That's more than Oprah. That's more than Ellen. That's $25 million more than Rush Limbaugh. Anybody who says that he's going bankrupt and he made up this whole thing because he doesn't have a couple of dollars in his pocket doesn't live in a reality that has Google, a calculator, and basic logic.
All right, I think you've settled that question.
Really? Okay. How do we settle that question? Well, Glenn Beck says he's making $90 million a year. Settled. Oh, okay. Then I'm making $100 million a year. Okay, I know you quoted Forbes. Forbes, Did you ask Glenn Beck, hey, can you show me the numbers behind the blaze and how you're making $45 million or whatever you claim you're making from your website? I guarantee you those numbers are not verified. We'll put up any Google numbers you want. In fact, we put it up all the time. For example, last month, we got over 79 million views on the TYT network. You say, if I've got access to Google, you asked about that? Well, that's the platform on which we got over 2 billion views on the TYT network. So I'm pretty familiar with Google. We're willing to put up our numbers. Rush Limbaugh never puts up his radio numbers. Glenn Beck never puts up his radio numbers. Glenn Beck invents numbers for his website, and then everybody in the press goes, okay, yep, he's making 45 million. Yep, that's it. That makes sense. Really? Did he ever put up verified numbers for that? Did he ever say, okay, here's how you can check it publicly? So, don't get me wrong and don't misquote me. I'm not saying he doesn't make a ton of money from radio. Bless his heart. I think it's a dying medium. I think it's comical. I think it'll be the last of those contracts. It's not just for Glenn Beck. It's also for Hannity and Limbaugh, et cetera, right? They now have people meters on radio and realize that nobody listens to conservative talk radio. Now, a lot of businessmen listen, so they wind up giving a lot of advertising dollars. They still get revenue. But I don't dispute any of his radio revenue numbers. I don't dispute his book numbers. I'm telling you, as I said in the original video, I know digital business, okay? And Glenn Beck is not making that kind of money online. He just isn't, okay? But he could shut me up. Wouldn't that be fun? I mean, what a loudmouth I am, right? You make your numbers public and show us how you got that money and what your views are and how they translate to revenue. Great, then you win, I lose. My guess is we're gonna be waiting a while for that. So my claim is, yes, he is not making that much money in his online business. That's why he would love to get back into television. That's why he's now saying, oh yeah, I was wrong about this and I was wrong about that and I used to act up a lot and I was acting kind of crazy, but now I'm totally fine, television executives. You can give me HLN, which was something that apparently he was negotiating over. You can put me on Fox. You can do whatever you like. That's my claim. Now, if you think that's crazy, maybe you're spinning around on a gyroscope. But it's okay, that'll cure it. You see? All problems are solved.